This is incredible. I'm getting it.
You getting what?
A stock.
What stock?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. I am taking a quick look at IonQ. IonQ. A lot of people told me when they watched my RGTI videos, Rigetti stock, they told me, hey, you should check out IonQ. You might like what you see. And guess what? I did some quick sleuthing around, and I'm like, whoa, I think this one might be one of the best ones. RGTI might have to place it at number 2. That's not to say it's not bad. I'm not saying that RGTI being number 2 on my list now doesn't mean it's bad. It's still good, right? It's still good. You know, AMD and Nvidia, they're both, they're still good stocks despite being in the same sector, right? TSM, same thing. Being number 2, not so bad. You can still make hand over fist money. Just talk to Pepsi about that one. I prefer Coca-Cola over Pepsi, but hey, I'll have a Pepsi if that's all they got. I like Pepsi too. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still make money. Well, they have other things beyond the cola, let's be real. But anyways, you guys get what I'm trying to say. Let's start with the income statement here. You got revenues that are growing from 2.10 million in 2021 to 11.13 and then 22 million. If this continues, we should see massive growth for the full year of 2024. Because if we do some quick math here for Q1, Q2, and Q3, that's 12 plus 11 plus 7. Let's just round up, let's say 8. So let's round up here. About 32 million so far. That's already going to be, I think they're going to hit another 50% in increase in revenue, depending on how Q4 performs. So just doing some quick math on the first 3 quarters, we're already going to get a 2024 with much more revenue. And by the way, the cost of goods sold, I love it. I love a company that has some good cost of goods sold. I hate when I see companies that have like 10 million in revenue, but their cost of goods sold is like 15 million. Like, wait, what? So it's costing you $1.50 to sell the hot dog, but you're selling the hot dog at $1. Like, that doesn't add up. You're not going to be profitable that way. If you're, you need to sell the hot dog for $2 at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to make sense. You can't have too high of cost of goods sold. I don't care if you put a lot of money into research and development. That's fine as long as that pays off in the future. So looking good on the financials. Also, one thing that stood out to me here is the balance sheet. When I looked at this balance sheet, I was like, whoa, this is, yeah. Look at that. Whew. The assets to liabilities. That is, you could not ask for better assets to liabilities here. 643 million in assets, 52 million in liabilities. For all intents and purposes, that's all you need to hear. 599 million to 30 million, 555 million to 70 million. They have a ton of assets. I mean, way more than RGTI. Way more. Cash and short term, they have a ton of cash. And a ton of total receivables as well. Wait, let me look at cash again. Yeah, short-term investments, total receivables. Let's look at receivables here. Yeah, IonQ, I like it I'm going to put it at number 1 above RGTI now. I'm going to put it above RGTI. It's number 1 right now with the quantum computing side of things. That doesn't mean RGTI is bad. It just means, at least on the financials, IonQ here looking good. Look, it's much better already. Has way more assets, like 5 times the amount of assets. And not only that, has growing revenues by 50% year over year or more. And it's already going to increase depending on how Q4 performs by another 50%, I believe, or more. Depends again on how they end Q4 with how much revenue they get there. So IonQ investor updates. Let's see. I'm curious who they work with. Hey, they also work with, interesting. They also work with Microsoft Azure, Google, and Amazon AWS. They also have AFRL, Accenture, Goldman Sachs, University of Maryland, Airbus, Dow, they also have a lot of partners. So again, I'm putting it right up there with RGTI. And for me, it's about finding the best quantum computing stocks. If there's two good quantum computing stocks, so far right now, that being IonQ and RGTI, and maybe SEALSQ, but we'll see about SEALSQ. That one still has to actually perform in 2025, whereas these two, you can tell right away by looking at their numbers and who they work with. If these companies believe in them, why shouldn't we, right? So I put IonQ at number 1 now, RGTI at number 2. Again, not a bad thing. You can hold both and make money off of both skyrocketing. Okay, you can go half and half. Like don't just because IonQ is number 1 on my list doesn't mean you have to. I guess I'll just go all in IonQ. No. Put some in both. They're both good. Quantum computing expected to create up to 850 billion in economic value by 2040. So as you can see on my watch list, I have IonQ at the very top. I'm going to drag that one down here. I'm going to put it above RGTI. I'm going to move SEALSQ Corp. That's another quantum computing one. I'm going to move it. I think I'm going to move it above QUBT because this is the one. QUBT is the one with like no revenues, and they don't really have that many partnerships compared to RGTI and IonQ. This one, LAES, this one's still speculative. Like they're just getting started. In 2025, we're going to see if they perform well as a company and really get a lot of customers and start bringing in that revenue. QBTS, RGTI, and IonQ, I put them in the top 3 because they already have revenues and customers. But RGTI and IonQ have, they have partnerships with Microsoft and Azure and Amazon. And IonQ works with Google as well. So I don't think anything else needs to be said. I don't think no more needs to be said here. Go with IonQ or RGTI. Both of them, at least out of all the quantum computing stocks that I've talked about on this channel, these two right here, RGTI and IonQ, look like the best ones. I would just hold both. Because if they both perform, you're going to make money. And anyways, you'll probably make more gains off of RGTI pumping since it's at 17. Going from 17 to 100, you're going to get more, percentage return compared to IonQ going to 100. It's going to give you 100%. So technically, RGTI would be better in terms of potential percentage return because of the cheaper share price. So that's just something to think about. Because either way, it's about getting that exposure to the quantum computing future, AI revolution, whatever you want to call it. And you can get that via RGTI and IonQ. There's also an ETF, I believe, but if you want to get better returns, you go with a specific, you pick a stock. But if you can't make up your mind, IonQ and RGTI would not be bad ones. The other ones, a little more speculative, and we have to see if they perform. Whereas IonQ and RGTI they're already performing. They already have a ton of partnerships, and I would go with the ones that are, that are already performing and that have great financials. Those two being IonQ and RGTI. Loving IonQ, loving RGTI. Let's see how the market moves on Monday. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.